All right, so today we are reviewing Cadence Design third quarter 2024 earnings results. Cadence is a really big player in this world of electronic systems design. They basically provide all the software, the hardware, and the IP that powers all these crazy complex chips and systems, the stuff we find in all our devices. To get a handle on what these results actually mean, we've got their official earnings press release here. Also some really insightful notes from analyst Kevin McCormick and the always detailed CFO commentary.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is that this, Cadence's technology, it's not just in your phone or laptop, it's kind of everywhere. You find it in cars, data centers, you name it. So our goal in this deep dive is to go beyond just those, raw numbers and try to understand what is driving Cadence's performance and what it all might mean for the future of this whole tech industry.
Yeah, I love that. So first up, let's look at the headline numbers. Cadence pulled in, get this, $1.215 billion in revenue for Q3. That's a 19% jump year over year. And they actually beat their own guidance, which kind of tells you something about how strong the demand is right now.
Yeah, that 19% growth, that's pretty remarkable, especially, when you consider that the tech sector has seen some slowdowns lately. This suggests to me, at least, that companies are still investing, heavily in developing this new tech, and Cadence is clearly a key player in all of that.
Right. Okay, so let's talk earnings per share. So the non-GAAP EPS came in at $1.64. And that's a significant jump from last year. And, for anyone who might not be super familiar with, financial lingo, non-GAAP EPS basically strips out certain costs. It gives us a clearer picture of the core profitability of the business.
Right, and that's a key point because it shows that Cadence isn't just growing revenue, but they're becoming more profitable too. And that's really what investors like to see.
Exactly. Okay, now here's where things get really exciting growth drivers. Yeah, one word just keeps popping up everywhere, and that is AI. Cadence's AI-powered design tools called Cadence.AI have seen just explosive growth. Revenue has nearly tripled. So it seems like AI is really changing how chips and systems are being designed. And Cadence is capitalizing on that in a big way.
It's not just hype either. This shift towards AI-driven design, it's having a real impact. And Cadence's success with, Cadence.AI kind of suggests that the future of chip design is really going to rely more and more on AI to handle these increasingly complex designs.
Yeah, no, I mean, it makes sense when you think about it. Okay, so it's not just about the tools, though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Cadence is also teaming up with some major players like, NVIDIA and ARM Holdings to work on next-gen chips.
Yeah, these partnerships are just crucial. They show that these industry giants, they really trust Cadence and they see them as a key player in this future of chip design. It's a powerful endorsement of their technology and their strategy.
Totally, yeah. And speaking of strategy, Cadence seems to be firing on all cylinders. I mean, all of their business units are showing growth. System design and analysis, or SD&A, is leading the pack with a phenomenal, I think it was a 47% growth. Plus, they've got impressive growth in IP at 59% and functional verification at 22%. It's like everything they touch is turning to gold.
Exactly. This broad-based strength is a really positive sign. It means they're not relying on, just one product or one market for success. It's a very diversified approach, which makes them much more resilient in the face of, any kind of market changes.
Right. And one more thing that really caught my eye is this increased adoption of Cadence's cloud-based solutions. Right. And this isn't just about Cadence. It really reflects a larger trend in the industry. The cloud is becoming like a total game changer in chip design. It offers this flexibility and scalability that it wasn't possible before.
Yeah, absolutely. The cloud just allows for so much more collaboration and access to these powerful resources, which is essential in this fast-paced world of chip design. And it makes you wonder, how is the cloud impacting your own work, and what role might it play in the future?
Yeah, it's definitely food for thought. And Cadence is right there ready to help businesses adapt to this, this changing landscape. It's not just about selling software anymore. It's about being a comprehensive design partner.
And they're clearly doing something right, because they've added 30 new customers this quarter, including a major IP partner who signed a huge deal for a full suite of Cadence offerings, hardware, IP, and services.
Wow. So it's not just about selling individual products. It's about building these lasting relationships, creating an entire ecosystem to support their customers' design needs.
Right. And speaking of support, we need to talk about Cadence's financial health. They've got a healthy backlog of $5.6 billion and a current remaining performance obligation, or CRPO, of $2.9 billion.
Now, For anyone who's not super familiar with all these financial terms, think of CRPO like a guaranteed stream of income
Yeah.
coming in over, the next 12 months.
Good.
So these numbers suggest that Cadence is in a very strong financial position, which is another reason why investors are, so excited.
Yeah, right. It signals a really strong future. And just to round out the financial picture, Cadence also issued $2.5 billion in senior notes in September, with an average interest rate of 4.44%.
Okay, so before we, dive deeper into all the specifics here,
Yeah.
it's clear that Cadence is on a roll. They're riding this AI wave, they're securing strategic partnerships, and they're just showing strength across their entire product lineup.
What's really impressive is that they're achieving all this.
Yeah.
In a tech environment that's, anything but predictable. It really speaks to their adaptability and their ability to kind of anticipate what their customers need.
Yeah, for sure. So this brings up a big question. With, chips becoming increasingly complex and all these new technologies like AI and 5G just taking off, how will companies like Cadence adapt and evolve in the future?
That's a question worth exploring further, and that's exactly what we'll do in the next part of our deep dive. Yeah, it's like trying to predict, the next big wave in surfing. But if we look closely at, at Cadence's Q3 performance, we might be able to find some clues about where they're headed.
Okay, I like that analogy. So let's break down those clues. We were talking about how system design and analysis, or SD&A as they call it, saw that incredible 47% year-over-year growth. What's the story there?
Well, their SD&A tools, they use this approach called multiphysics, which is really crucial because it allows them to, to simulate how different forces interact in these super complex systems. For example, think about, designing a self-driving car. You need to consider how like electrical, mechanical, thermal, and even like aerodynamic forces are all going to impact those chips. And Cadence's tools can actually help engineers, model and optimize for all of that.
So it's like having a virtual test track for chips.
Yeah.
Where they can simulate all kinds of real world conditions.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. And what's even cooler is that they're using AI to make those simulations even more powerful and efficient.
Exactly. They're combining their deep knowledge of physics-based modeling with AI-driven optimization, and it's clearly resonating with customers. This really highlights how AI is becoming so pervasive, in every aspect of electronic systems design.
Okay, so we've got AI driving innovation and simulations.
Yeah.
What else is fueling this Cadence growth?
Well, let's talk about intellectual property, or IP for short. This is another area where they're seeing huge momentum. They had a 59% year-over-year growth in Q3. So they're essentially providing, these pre-designed and pre-verified building blocks that other companies can then use to, to speed up their chip development process.
So imagine Cadence is providing these pre-built Lego blocks for chip design, which would save companies a ton of time and effort, and it would ensure a certain level of quality right out of the gate. So it sounds like they've kind of become like the go-to source for these Lego blocks, given that they're seeing such massive growth in this area.
Exactly, and there's a perfect example of this. In Q3, a long-term IP partner signed this major deal for a whole package that includes, hardware, IP, and services from Cadence. It's not just about, selling these individual components anymore. It's about becoming this strategic partner, for this entire chip design lifecycle.
So it's not just about the technology itself. It's about the expertise and the support that Cadence brings to the table. They're helping their customers, solve these complex design challenges and get their products to market faster.
And here's the kicker. That IP partner, they're actually focused on, on AI products and these next-gen subsystems. This just reinforces the idea that, that AI is driving this wave of innovation in chip design. And Cadence is right at the forefront, riding that wave.
Totally. Okay, so we've covered SD&A and IP. What about functional verification? That's another big part of their business, right?
Absolutely. Functional verification is all about, making sure that the chips and systems that are being designed actually, work as intended. It's a critical part of the design process, and Cadence is a leader in this space. So in Q3, they saw 22% year-over-year growth in this segment, driven by strong demand for their cutting-edge hardware systems.
Okay, so they're not just providing software for verification. They're also developing hardware that's specifically designed to test and validate chip designs. Why Why is there such a big demand for this verification hardware, especially in areas like, AI and hyperscale computing
Yeah.
and automotive applications?
Well, it all comes down to,
Yeah.
to complexity and this need for absolute reliability. I mean, think about AI chips. They are incredibly complex with billions of transistors
Yeah.
and sophisticated algorithms and in applications like self-driving cars. Even a
Mm.
tiny error in the chip design can have, disastrous consequences. The stakes are incredibly high.
So the need for thorough verification is paramount, and
Yeah.
and Cadence is stepping up to meet that need with their advanced hardware systems.
And they're not just, keeping up with current demands. They're also anticipating future needs. They're investing in research and development, to push the boundaries of verification technology even further. Because as chips become, even more complex and powerful, the tools that are used to verify them will need to evolve as well.
It's a constant race to stay ahead of the curve, and it seems like Cadence is doing a pretty good job of leading the pack.
Yeah, their success in functional verification is a real testament to their commitment to innovation, their understanding of, what customers need, and their ability to deliver these cutting edge solutions.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here, but there's one more piece of the puzzle I want to explore, and that is China. We know, China is a major market for a lot of tech companies, but it's also been a source of, some uncertainty and volatility lately.
Yeah.
How is Cadence navigating this complex landscape?
That's a great question. The geopolitical situation and the trade tensions between the U.S. and China have definitely created some challenges for companies that are, operating in the region. So Cadence has had to tread carefully, balancing their growth ambitions with, the need to comply with regulations.
Yeah.
and manage risk.
So what's their strategy for
Right.
for dealing with all of this?
Well, it's a multifaceted approach. First and foremost, they're focusing on, building strong relationships with their existing customers in China. Providing them with the technology and the support they need to succeed. They understand that these long-term partnerships are really essential for sustainable growth in this market.
So it's about building trust and demonstrating that they're a reliable partner, even in the face of this geopolitical uncertainty.
Exactly. And it's not just about, maintaining these existing relationships. It's also about, looking for new opportunities for growth. So Cadence is actively exploring ways to expand their presence in China, identifying these emerging trends and investing in technologies that will meet the evolving needs of Chinese customers.
So they're nurturing existing relationships while also seeking out,
Yeah.
these new avenues for growth. It sounds like a pretty balanced approach.
Yeah.
But how is it translating into like actual results? What is the financial data tell us about their performance in China?
Well, the numbers are interesting. In Q3, China represented 13% of Cadence's total revenue. This is a slight increase from the previous quarter, which would suggest that they're starting to gain, some positive momentum in this market.
So while there are still challenges, it seems like Cadence is making some progress in China. There's strategic focus on on partnerships, on innovation and customer centricity.
Yeah.
Appears to be paying off.
What's encouraging is that they're not just, chasing these short-term gains in China. They're taking a long-term perspective, building a foundation for sustainable growth.
Oh.
That will benefit, both the company and its Chinese customers.
Okay, so it's clear that Cadence's Q3 performance. It wasn't just about like impressive numbers. It was about strategic execution.
Yeah.
And navigating a complex global landscape and positioning themselves, for continued success.
Yeah, it was about demonstrating a deep understanding of the forces that are shaping this tech world, from the rise of AI,
Right.
and the expanding role of the cloud, to the geopolitical complexities of doing business globally.
As we move into this final part of our deep dive, I'm really curious to explore what all of this means. For Cadence's long-term prospects, where do they go from here?
Yeah.
What are the key trends and challenges they'll need to navigate, in the years to come?
Those are the million-dollar questions, and we'll delve into them in our final segment.
Okay, so we've seen the Cadence is doing incredibly well right now, but what does the future hold for them? What are like the big trends and the challenges that they'll need to face?
Well, one of the biggest trends that will shape their future is this increasing complexity of chip design. I mean, we're talking about cramming more and more transistors, into these smaller and smaller spaces, integrating like AI and 5G all onto a single chip. It's a whole new level of complexity.
It's like trying to sit, like
Yeah.
a whole orchestra onto a postage stamp.
hmm
And not just any orchestra, one that can like play Beethoven and Beyonce simultaneously.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. And to design these super chips, you need incredibly sophisticated tools, and that's where Cadence comes in. They've always been at the forefront of innovation, in electronic design automation,
Yeah.
investing heavily in research and development.
So they're providing the tools that will enable this,
Oh, yeah.
the next generation of chips, the ones that will power. I mean, everything from self-driving cars to personalized medicine.
Precisely. And as the demand for these advanced chips grows,
Yeah.
so too will the demand for Cadence's tools and their expertise. But it's not just about, the technology itself. It's also about how it's delivered.
You're talking about the cloud, right? It seems like the cloud is becoming like almost essential for chip design these days.
Absolutely. The cloud it offers this level of flexibility and scalability. That's just crucial for companies that are, working on these complex chip designs. Teams can collaborate from anywhere. They can access this massive computing power, on demand, and they can experiment with these new ideas without needing to invest in this expensive hardware.
So Cadence's move towards, cloud-based solutions.
Yeah.
It's not just like a trend. It's a strategic necessity. They need to be, where their customers are. And increasingly,
Yeah.
that's in the cloud.
Right, and this brings us to another key factor, and that is partnerships. We've already talked about,
Yeah.
Their collaborations with NVIDIA and ARM Holdings, but this trend of ecosystem building is only going to accelerate in the future.
It's like that old saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
Exactly. No single company can do,
Yeah.
can do everything in this world of chip design. You need that specialized expertise, you need the complementary technologies, and you need that network of partners to bring these complex chips to life. And Cadence is clearly, embracing that philosophy and building this ecosystem to support their customers, throughout this entire design process.
Yeah, and it's not just about, the big companies partnering up. It's also about, fostering this community of developers
Yeah.
and researchers and startups who can all kind of contribute to this wave of innovation.
That's a great point. The more minds you have working on, solving these complex design challenges, the faster this industry will progress. And Cadence is in a unique position to act as a catalyst for that kind of, collaborative innovation.
So we've got, this increasing chip complexity. We've got the rise of the cloud, and we've got the importance of partnerships.
Yeah.
But what about the challenges? What obstacles might Cadence, might they face in the years ahead?
Well, one of the biggest challenges
Right.
for any tech company is just this relentless pace of change. New technologies are always emerging, market demands are always shifting, and
Yeah.
and competitors are constantly innovating. So Cadence is going to need to stay agile. They're going to need to anticipate those changes and adapt quickly. To remain
I think it's
competitive.
like playing like a high stakes game of chess where the rules are.
Yes.
Constantly change.
Exactly. And it requires, a culture of continuous learning and experimentation and a willingness to embrace these new ideas. Another challenge that's kind of specific to this industry is talent acquisition and retention. I mean, with the demand for, skilled engineers and chip designers so high, it's a real battle, to attract and keep the best and brightest.
Yeah, I can imagine. Cadence will need to invest in their people.
Yeah.
Create a work environment that fosters growth and offer, competitive compensation just to stay ahead of the game.
Absolutely. It's not just about, having the best technology. It's about having the best people, to develop it and to support it. And finally, we can't ignore the geopolitical landscape. The relationship between between the U.S. and China is complex and uncertain, and that creates challenges for companies like Cadence that operate globally.
Right. So they'll need to navigate those geopolitical waters carefully, staying compliant with regulations, managing risk, and maintaining these strong relationships with customers and partners worldwide.
It's a delicate balancing act for sure.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, it's clear that that Cadence has a bright future ahead of them.
Yeah.
But it's not it's not without its challenges.
Yeah, they're Q3 performance shows that they're making these smart decisions. They're embracing AI. They're investing in the cloud. They're building these strong partnerships, and they're navigating this global landscape strategically. They're not just reacting to change. They're actually shaping the future. Of this industry.
Cadence is definitely a company to watch. They're at the forefront of this technological revolution, and their journey will be full of of innovation and adaptation and strategic decision making.
Yeah, and for you, the listener, I encourage you to continue exploring, these trends. Think about how they might, impact your own industry or career. Don't be afraid to ask questions, challenge assumptions, and seek out, diverse perspectives.
Because that's what the deep dive is all about, right? It's about giving you the insights to navigate this ever-changing world. Thanks for joining us on this journey.